Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello, my name is Olivia, and today we're obviously going to be talking about the reality of being an anthropology student in college. This is somewhat going to be an expectation versus reality, but more than anything, I just want to break down some of the things you may have heard, so let's just get into it. So the first thing that I want to dive into right now is homework. What does the homework actually look like for an anthropology major? Now, when it comes to the major itself, there's four main disciplines: archaeology, linguistics, culture, and biology. And obviously, because each of these disciplines study different things, you're actually going to be doing very different homework in each of these classes. So I think it's fair to say that in 3 out of the 4 disciplines, excluding biology, you need to be prepared to be doing a lot of reading and a lot of essay writing. Now, of course, with this entire video, everything is going to depend on where you go to school and who your professor is. But generally speaking, I think a good rule of thumb is to know that when you're literally studying language or studying cultures, a lot of what you have to work with, and therefore a lot of what you have to study with, is written texts. So be prepared to do a lot of reading and potentially a lot of writing. Another thing that I think goes hand in hand with homework is projects. And something that I think is really unique about the anthropology major is projects that you do for these classes are actually a lot more interactive than they might be for other classes that you have to write essays. For example, in a cultural anthropology class, maybe you're going to write an ethnography and you sit on your campus and observe the students. I don't know, I just made that up, but you actually get to write about things that are maybe a little bit more interesting. Now, clearly I glossed over the biology side of things, and for anyone who doesn't know me already, I am actually a biological anthropology student, so that's my area. And it's definitely fair to say that the biological anthropology classes tend to lean on the side of what you would expect from a biology course. So biology courses, I think there's a lot more objectivity involved, and you have to be prepared to know Darwin's postulates and who Hamilton is and solve math equations. Like, even though that might not be what you're expecting from an anthropology class, when you become an anthropology major, you have to take classes in all of the disciplines. So be prepared that even if you don't like bio, you're gonna at least have to take one class within this realm. The next thing is exams. What are exams really like for anthropology majors? Within, again, those 3 out of the 4 anthropology disciplines that are a little bit more on the social science side of things, within exams, I think there's 2 things that you can generally expect, and that is going to be essays, but essays can actually be done in 2 different ways. One of the options is going into class and having a timed essay exam where you don't have any notes and you just have to literally write the essay with whatever prompt it is that you get in class. Or some professors elect not to have a final exam, and rather they send you home with an essay prompt, and maybe it's a longer essay that you have to do a little bit more research on, and then you turn that in, and then that essay counts as your final exam. Now then, of course, there is biology, the odd one out, and I'm not going to talk about this too much because it's exactly what you'd expect. It tends to be a lot of multiple choice, studying a lot of theorems and postulates and just how biology works. But the unique thing about biological anthropology is it puts things in the context of humans. So the biology that you're studying is very related to you and your behavior and your cellular biology, and I just think that's so interesting. Now, the third category that I have prepared for you guys is stereotypes. What do people expect anthropology students to be like, and then what is it actually like to be an anthropology student? Now, when people ask me what my major is, I think there tends to be this immediate assumption when I say anthropology that it's a really easy major. But the problem is, if you ask that person what anthropology is, they probably couldn't tell you. In my opinion, anthropology classes are extremely manageable. You should be able to get a relatively high GPA within the anthropology major. The professors don't usually ask too much of you. I like to think they're very personable people, but I'll talk about that later. And generally they want you to succeed, which I really appreciate. So the classes are fine, you should be fine, don't worry about your grades and everything. But as all disciplines are, there's always gonna be that one class or those few classes that are just exceptionally more difficult. The point here in bringing up stereotypes is I think there is some validity. Generally speaking, anthropology is probably a little bit easier than some other majors, but there are always challenging classes within the mix, no matter what major you're taking. And anthropology students like life. There's so many people around me at my school that are just really struggling with their major, and I look around in my classes and most people are happy to be there, and that is just something that I love. Now, my last big point about the reality of being an anthropology student is all about the professors. Now, professors don't get enough credit. These people are so so cool. And then you throw an anthropology professor into the mix and it gets even cooler. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I don't think people give a lot of thought to how much preparation and schooling and life goes into accomplishing being a professor. It's a very competitive job. And so when you're an anthropology professor, you have freaking lived life. Like, these people have traveled all over the world and have done so many cool things and are truly experts, like top level experts in their field. And it's so easy to forget that as a student because you're going to class every day or you talk to people that have other cool professors. But in my experience, I have had anthropology professors who traveled to this remote region in Tibet and had to trek through these intense mountains and barely survived, but made it out alive with her like intense research on this one remote community. And hearing these stories and experiences of the professors just brings the anthropology classes to the next level. And as a student, it is honestly so inspiring to see these people doing something that they love. Anthropology professors almost always, even if they aren't a great professor, you can tell that they have such a deep love and passion for what they're studying. And as a student, I just look up to that so much. So point here, reality, anthro professors are awesome and you should definitely take an anthro class even if you don't want to be an anthro major. I think we had a little bit of a shorter video today, and that is all I have to say about like the expectation versus reality of being an anthropology student. Now let me know what you guys want to see in the future and I will be really happy to get that out for you. Definitely check out my links in the description box down below. Exciting anthro content coming soon, and I think I'm gonna leave you guys here. All right, I will see you all next Sunday. Bye.